Hello, we are the programmers from FTC Team 13295 Disaster Management, and we're here to talk about the 2-meter distance sensor from REV Robotics.
What is the 2-meter distance sensor? The 2-meter distance sensor is an I2C sensor made by REV Robotics. It is one of the best sensors currently available for FTC and has a big role during the autonomous period of this year's game, Ultimate Goal.
In this year's challenge, the starter stack is chosen randomly at the beginning of the 30-second autonomous period. Because drivers cannot give the robot any information during this period, the robot needs to find the number of rings stacked, whether that is 0, 1, or 4, to determine in which target zone the wall goal is to be placed. The 2-meter distance sensor will help with this task by detecting the distance between the rings in the sensor, which will vary with the height of the rings.
The 2-meter distance sensor is the best sensor for sensing rings, as we discovered through testing. It updates frequently and accurately, and is more reliable than the other line of REV sensors that can be used for distance sensing. Those sensors being the color proximity sensor, the color sensor V2, and color sensor V3. These sensors have distance capabilities, but we have concluded that the 2-meter distance sensor outperforms them in sensing distances and being able to reliably sense the rings for this year's game.
This is an example program of how to use the sensor for this year's game. It detects whether the height is less than or equal to half of the height of one ring, or less than or equal to a height that we found through trial and error. We'll give you some time to pause the video and look through and understand this very basic example program. This is showing how we mounted our sensor to our robot, and then this is a demonstration of that program being used for this season's game. Because the sensor updates so frequently and accurately, we have a small rest so the program can find the average starting distance of the sensor from the floor.
It takes that information and it adds to the programming, allowing the sensor to sense how many rings there are, and when it senses how many rings there are, it will go to the correct target zone. As you can see in our video, it senses the average height from the floor, it scans that there's no rings there, and it will go to the target zone on which we've programmed it to go to, based on the amount of rings. We are 13295 Disaster Management, and we hope this video helps.